Today's the day. I'll put the calendar up in a minute. But we know everything. We just want to kind of keep practicing. We're going to do a little check for understanding and formative to kind of see where you are. And then we have a test review as well. Our solving test, is going to be next class. Okay? So, big day. It's going to be 2 different grades. So I wanted to just do a couple more of these on the back page. And if you're like me and you were kind of writing all over the place, I'm sorry that there was just not too much space here. But I want to review 7 for sure. And then we can talk about how we would do 8 and 12. And we'll be done at that point. So if you remember at the top of the page, hopefully you wrote down our steps for solving. If you didn't, they're still up there. Remember when we have equations or inequalities, we always have to simplify the left and the right-hand side. And to simplify, there's 2 things we're looking at. Do we need to distribute? Do we need to combine like terms? And you may have to do one or the other. You may have to do both. You may not have to do either. But it's something you always got to check for. So do we distribute? Do we combine like terms? And then we get our variables on one side, our constants on the other. Divide typically to get the answer. So it's the same stuff. It's just now we're to the point where we're putting like all the steps in one. So let's work number 7. I'm going to draw my line down through my equals. Do I have to distribute on number 7 left-hand side? Yes. And that's the first thing that I'm going to do. What am I distributing here? A 2. And 2 times 4x is 8x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Do I distribute to the minus 8? Over here, this guy. No, I'm just going to drop him down. Do I have to distribute on the right-hand side? No, so I'm going to copy that down as well. So that was my step number 1. Very good job on getting that. That's a really, really big part of solving equations is knowing how to distribute, and y'all are crushing it. Okay? Now, this second step is the one that we kind of introduced last time. It's not that hard, but it is probably the most commonly missed situation here, okay? And that's combined like terms. So remember, here's my line. So I'm looking at one side at a time. I am not moving anything yet. I'm going to underline these 2 numbers. Why did I underline those? They're like terms. Now, are they on the same or are they on opposite sides of my line? When they're on the same, you put them together by adding. So what is negative 6 plus negative 8? Y'all got calculators, don't you?
12.
Negative 6 plus negative 8. Notice I went to my calculator. I added up those 2 numbers. They were negatives. So I just typed negative in there. And I get negative 14 equals 4 plus 2x. And the big idea here is when they're on the same side, you might be putting constants. Remember, what's a constant? A number with no variable. You might be putting constants together like I just did. You might be putting variables together like we have on some other problems. But since they're on the same side, there's no inverse operations going on until now. Now I'm fully simplified over here. Fully simplified over here. Now I'm moving across the line. I always want you guys to move the variable first. So we want to move the 2x or the 8x. What do y'all want? 2x. How? Minus 2x. And what do I line that up under over here? The 8x. Like terms. 8x minus 2x is minus 14 equals 4. So I moved my variable to the left where my constants have to go to the right. Miles, you with us? Four plus 14 is 18. Final step, how do you undo the 6 from the x? Divide both sides by 6. How do I get a fraction in my calculator?
Alpha of y equals.
Very good. Is it okay if I get a fractional answer?
Yeah.
Yes. Do I on this problem? No. So my solution is x equals 3. But I just want to, if you look at number 9, we did that one together last time. We got a fraction. That's okay. Fractions are not scary to us. Fractions are our friends. Expect to get a fraction or 2 or 3, I don't know, on your test. I don't want that to make you concerned that you did it wrong. Okay? All right, let's look at number 12 down here, and then we'll come back to 8. Let's look at number 12. I put a star by number 12. It's a multiple choice question, and on your test, you're going to have a few multiple choice questions. Love, hate multiple choice. It's nice because, like, you can, if you're getting an answer that matches up, you're probably on the right track, but I will tell you, I'm pretty mean when it comes to writing multiple choice, and I'll put answer choices on there based on mistakes that are common. So sometimes they're not always the best. Also, I want you to show your work, okay? All right, you're all here. You are all here today, so you all look at me in the eyes. If you just circle an answer, are you looking at me, all of you? If you just circle an answer on your test, even if it's the right one and you have no work, you will not get full credit. You might get a couple points for picking the right one, but you have to show your work. Do we understand? Yes? Okay, so this question says, what value of x makes the equation true? We talked about that this is a star question. Again, they're just asking you to find the solution. Solve it for x, okay? Draw our line. Go through our steps. This one's got a lot. Do we have to distribute on the left-hand side?
Yes.
What are you distributing? What kind of one? Right here, how it's negative 5x minus. I'm going to just drop down the negative 5x because it's not, the negative 5x is not attached to the parentheses. There is a minus, and then I drew in a 1 right there. Okay, that's like a negative 1. This is what you are distributing here and here, a negative 1. That's tricky. That trips up my advanced algebra 2 kids. Okay, so write in a 1, even circle it like I did. What is negative 1 times negative 7?
Negative 7.
Negative times a negative is a, so plus 7. Negative 1 times negative 4x is a positive 4x. So you're distributing in the negative. Everything's changing signs, but it's really big that you understand that that is a negative at the beginning. What about the other side?
Negative 2 times positive 3 is negative 6.
X.
X.
Negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8. I'm going to do one more step with you, and then I'm going to let you guys try to finish this problem. Do we have like terms on the left-hand side? What are they? Negative 5x and 4x, and they're on the same side. So we add them. What is negative 5x plus 4x? Plus 7 equals negative 6x plus 8. Okay? Finish the problem. Find your solution. Multiple choice. This is what I'm wanting. I'm modeling for you what I want to see on your multiple choice question on your test. Work to back up your answer. See your solution, all that stuff. So you've got a couple questions on here that, again, these are like kind of beefed up questions. You've got distributing on both sides. You've got like terms. You've got to move. You got to divide. So there's a lot going on. Watch those negative times negative. Those are all kind of trippy. Last one I want to do before we get to Delta math practice for 10 or 15 minutes is number 8. We talked about how to do number 9, but it's been a weekend. Okay, when you've got a fraction equal to a fraction, cross multiply. I want you to be careful about the setup though. So I'm going to multiply right here. N plus 4 is going to multiply by 3. Now I'm going to be picky. Sometimes I'm picky about stuff. I would rather you put 3, the single term, outside, and then n plus 4 has got to be in parentheses, okay? Because you have to distribute that 3 to the n and to the 4. So put your number, the constant, in the front, because that's how we're used to distributing. So what's the other side going to look like? Tell me how to write this side.
2 parentheses n minus.
And that cleans that problem up like this. Honestly, this problem is easier to solve than the other ones we did. But you just have to know how to look at it and know where to go. And you're going to see one like it. So solve that, and then when you finish, you can get your Chromebook out and make sure you're at 100% on Delta Math. If you are, then do some extra practice. I'll set a timer for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to do a check for understanding on formative. So that's what we're doing now. 15 minutes. but here it is on your calendar for you. Our test is next time. So what needs to be done before your test? Delta Math needs to be at 100. If it is not, you're probably going to be getting an email from me if it's not done by tomorrow. Most of you are like, it's just 1 or 2 problems left. So we might have some time after that to work on there. So we've done all the notes, all the Delta Math. We're about to take just a quick little check for understanding, informative, like we did last time. I have paper this time for you to write down the problems and write down your work. It's just 3 questions. And then when you finish that, I have this blue test review, okay? So the test review's got 12 questions on it. It's got equations and inequalities. So let me just show that to you real quick. Your test, it's going to be one test that you take. I don't know, it's like maybe 10 or 12 questions. But it's going to be 2 separate grades. So we're going to have 1 grade about equations, 1 grade about inequalities, okay? The equations and inequalities solve the same, but what you got to be careful for is with inequalities, you have a number line, okay? All right, close your screens and look at me for a second. So here's your test review. You've got the front page is all equations, okay? So you just solve. Remember all your steps, distribute, combine, move x, move the constants, whatever. And then the bottom 4, there's only 4 that have inequalities because they're really kind of similar. But you've got number lines on here as well. So Delta Math hasn't had y'all putting the number lines on there. It's done a good job about making you flip the inequality when you divide by a negative. But there hasn't been number lines to practice with. So make sure that's going to be, a couple points on each problem. Get in the right circle, pointing the right way. So this test review is really, really good. In addition to all the other practice that we've done. So I also put an answer key to the test review. I put that on Canvas, not for you to copy it all down. I don't need you to copy down the work. I want you just to do the work, but you have the answer key to check, or you have the answer key if you get stuck, okay? You're not turning this in. This is just strictly for you to practice. So I put the answer key, linked it there on Canvas as well. So let's go ahead and put your notes packets to the side, and we're going to go to formative. I believe this link right here, someone try it for me. I believe that's going to take you to formative, hopefully. If it doesn't, we'll figure it out.